Hey everybody. Today I am going to be trying out my brand new Movie Pass card that Michelle got me for my birthday. And we're going to see Black Panther. Now, this should allow me to go see movies I wouldn't necessarily pay a lot of money for, and maybe every so often give a in theaters now movie review. So, in a few hours, I will be back and should have a movie review of the new Marvel comic book adventure superhero movie Black Panther, which I never read the comics, so I don't know much about it. But hey, let's check it out. Hey, so I just got back from the movie. Yeah, it's our pantry. I thought I'd keep giving you different backgrounds so you don't get too bored of just looking at the same wall over and over again. Anyway, I was going to give you a little quick review of Black Panther, let you know what I thought about it. So, overall, if you're into the high action, very comic booky sorts of Marvel movies, I'm thinking more like the Avengers, those kind of things. It's probably not going to be as much for you. If you like the quirkier, stranger Marvel movies, this might be more up your alley. When I say quirkier, stranger, I'm thinking more like Deadpool or Guardians of the Galaxy, some of that kind of stuff. It's not as jokey as that. Now, don't get that in your head. Also, this is one of those movies that definitely will go with your expectations. So, if you have super high expectations, you're probably going to be a little disappointed, and vice versa. I went into it. I'm not a huge Marvel guy, but I like him okay. So I went into it just going like, okay, whatever. It's a, guy that dresses up as a panther, and he's from this magical unknown country in Africa, and he is rich and he has powers and whatever. That's about all I knew. But this movie is a lot more ambitious than that, and definitely have some really strong points. So we'll start with the weaker points. The weaker points are the action is okay. You're not going to have your best action sequences for any of the Marvel movies in this movie. And a couple of them are definitely too dark. The very opening action sequence is almost all in the dark, and of course Black Panther's in a black suit, so it's a little tough to kind of make that out. There's a pretty good chase scene, although we've seen a million chase scenes. But it definitely gets to play off of some of his abilities, and his suit especially is kind of cool, and how his suit works. There's some action sequences later that are pretty decent as well. Another weakness that could also be a strength is the tone is pretty all over the place. In the acting, even you get anywhere from very subtle performances to way over the top performances. And a lot of this movie has elements that are pretty high camp, and then other elements that are pretty straightforward and pretty grounded in reality. Definitely the stuff in Kawanda is pretty out there. I mean, it's like, I want to call it like space Africa. I mean, it's super colorful. There's all these different tribes living there. It's very, kind of magical, and they have this, special element or whatever it is, or mineral. I don't know what you want to call it. That is basically magical and makes everybody stronger, and they can heal everything, and they have the best technology in the universe, and so on and so forth. That being put aside, the actual story is pretty different. It's way more Shakespearean, or like The Godfather. I've heard comparisons to The Godfather. All of that is definitely in there, because the heart of the film is all about revenge, the sins of the father and the brother, and who is a rightful heir to a throne. What is moral and immoral. There's a lot of stuff about, if you have the power to share your knowledge and technology, why don't you do it? And especially, why wouldn't you do it to take over the oppressors? So there's definitely the whole element of racism does come in this movie. And that is interesting. So I would say, if you're even halfway interested in going and checking it out, it's worth a look. What are the strongest things in this movie? Surprisingly, the main character, the king, Black Panther, he's okay, but he's kind of your standard do-gooder hero. He definitely has to encounter some moral ambiguities later in the movie, which are kind of interesting. But The most interesting characters are his villain, which always makes a superhero movie better. If the villain is decent, then the rest of the movie is going to be elevated a little bit. And Michael B. Jordan's take on the main villain as Killmonger, and that's because he's killed so many people. I guess it's also supposed to be his name, is excellent. And like any really good villain, his reasoning is pretty sound. In a lot of ways, you can agree with what he's doing. It's just that he ends up taking it to a level that obviously ends up being very morally questionable. Also, the sister of the king is really quite a bit of fun, and she is kind of your, a lot of times it's your comic relief, but she also, in a lot of ways, is kind of like a Q character from the James Bond movies, in that, you know, she has all the gadgets, and she's the one that, you know, kind of suits him up and gets him ready to go on his missions and stuff. And then last but not least, the character of his right-hand woman slash general, kind of the head of these armed warrior princesses or whatever that he's got kind of surrounding him. She is amazing. She, in some ways, might be the most badass, kick-ass character in the whole movie. And every time she goes into action, I mean, it's worth the price of admission. So all that being said, I would say I would probably give this, probably give it like a B plus, not quite into the A territory as far as rating a movie. Definitely you could do a lot worse. I mean, for a matinee, totally worth it. For a rental, totally worth it. If you've got kids that like a pretty good action movie, it's not bad at all. A little edgier than some of the Marvel stuff. I mean, people get killed. There's no blood, but people get shot in the head. People get, their throats cut. So all that kind of stuff was kind of surprising to be in a Marvel movie. But once again, it's very, it's just the motions. You don't see blood splatters or anything like that. So anyway, that's my first review of a movie in theaters now. I hope to do more as I start using my Movie Pass, which worked just great. All right, guys, bye.